morning. My name is Rob Falk, the proud principal of Iroquois High School. Welcome to the Pride of the South End. We have the opportunity today to talk about the Evolve502 Scholarship, and it is my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director for Evolve502, Ms. Marlon Cole.
Good morning. I can't tell you how excited I am to be out of the house, in a school, seeing students. This is fabulous, fabulous. It's been a long time coming. But thank you all so very much for joining us. As I said, after a long year apart, it's exciting to be in a school again and to really share more information about our work. I want to thank Principal Falk for hosting us today at Iroquois High School. I know he's been here, a little over a year and a half now, and is doing fabulous work and having a great impact in this community. And so we thank you for having us here. And it's quite fitting that we are here today in this school, in that when I think back in our development, one of the first real partnerships Evolve502 formed was with the Rotary Club of Louisville to continue the support that they were doing already in helping young people from Iroquois and Western high schools really continue with their education. And Walt Kuno is here with us this morning, and so it's fitting that we are here. We are so encouraged that more than 30% of the senior class here at Iroquois High School has applied for our scholarship. So that's great. And we are truly encouraged by their interest and that of approximately 850 other JCPS students within the district who are also planning for their future and considering our scholarship opportunities. So we're just overjoyed with that. Now the hard work is now to transition those kids into actually being college students, but we are well on our way in making that happen. But with all the struggles our students and families have faced over the last year, we're committed to making sure that right now is the easiest time in our city's history for young people to go to college. Evolve502 is a public-private partnership working to grow the educational attainment in our community and to really ensure that every child is prepared for college, career, and a successful, productive life. We are committed to breaking down the systemic barriers of poverty and racism that really create an uneven playing field for many of our youth. This is not an easy lift, but this community is stepping up in a big way to support our efforts, and together we know that we can make the necessary change to right those wrongs. Last August, we were grateful to gather and be able to announce the launch of our Evolve502 Scholarship for all eligible students in the JCPS class of 2021. These seniors can receive a 2-year tuition-free associate's degree, technical credential, or other certification from any of the Kentucky community and technical colleges like Jefferson or Simmons College of Kentucky, our city's HBCU. While inspired by other Promise programs around the country, lessons learned identified for us that tuition alone isn't the only barrier to college success, especially when you consider our low income and historically marginalized groups. We wanted our program to do more to help those students in most need. That's where our opportunity grants come in. For our lowest income students, those with household incomes of $40,000 or less, we are offering opportunity grants of $1,000 per semester to help with those other costs of attending college. And if any of us have sent kids to school, we know what that looks like. Helping with housing, transportation, food, and books, and just those life emergencies that come up that really impact students' ability to persist. Our partners at the University of Louisville have also stepped up to support our opportunity grant recipients in the JCPS class of 2021. Opportunity grant recipients who earn up to 60 credit hours and/or an associate's degree through our program and remain Pell eligible will have the chance to attend the University of Louisville to finish a 4-year degree tuition-free. That's right. And we thank Jenny Sawyer for being with us today representing the University of Louisville. So we are talking about a true affordable pathway for our lowest income students to earn a bachelor's degree. But today, we are announcing a significant gift to fund our opportunity grants. The James Graham Brown Foundation is donating $3 million to Evolve502 to fund opportunity grants for the JCPS classes of 2021 and 2022. While we also have a challenge grant from the CENS Foundation, this gift to date is our largest gift and will ensure that our students with most need will have equitable access to higher education, receiving the financial support they need to be successful. At this moment, I'd like to introduce Mason Rummel, President and CEO of the James Graham Brown Foundation, and ask her to bring her remarks.
Thank you, Marlon. And Dr. Polio and I talked for a few minutes right before we started this, and he said, gosh, it's kind of interesting seeing everybody in person again. I said, sort of like riding a bike, isn't it? You just get right back on, and here we are. So, good morning, everyone. It is so great to be here to be part of the very special day where we're celebrating a huge milestone in our community. And this is the journey of ensuring a bright future for our city through the investment of our youth. The Evolve502 commitment to JCPS students represents the culmination of a Herculean effort on the part of our mayor, our education professionals, civic volunteers, and a host of community leaders over many years. And I have to give a big shout out to the CENS Foundation that kicked this off with a major challenge. So thanks to you, Mary Gwen. As this movement progressed, we learned a lot about ourselves as a city, what would work, and where the challenges were. And it was clear very early on that equity must be the premise for attempting such a bold undertaking. And that is where Evolve502 landed, a guarantee to JCPS students who want to pursue a post-secondary degree would not be kept from achieving it because of a lack of resources or inability to overcome everyday barriers. All too often, life gets in the way for some of us, causing us to put education off for a bit because of a lack of financial resources that many of us take for granted. So the Brown Foundation has walked every step of the way with the dedicated leaders who brought us this far, supporting the infrastructure of Evolve502 organization and its predecessor civic entities that led to its creation. And with the capital campaign well underway, we have the perfect opportunity to continue the momentum with funding for the opportunity grants that will support our students with extra financial assurance needed to succeed in college. The classes of 2021 and 2022 will be the first to receive these grants when needed. The availability of these additional supports can make all the difference in a student's ability to continue to remain in school and complete that degree or not. We don't want any students to face barriers that keep them from achieving their goals, and that is why the foundation committed to this effort, so that we're proud to join so many others who are making this a reality. Mr. Brown envisioned his foundation focusing on the image of our city and state by doing things that promote the quality of life of its residents, and he was a great supporter of education during his lifetime. So our board and staff have continued that legacy with a commitment to equity in our grant making. A city of lifelong learning championed by our civic leaders, providing opportunity for everyone, regardless of financial ability, is precisely how the Brown Foundation imagines a prosperous future for our youth and for our city. So thank you to all of you.
Mason, thank you so much for being here, for your leadership and great support. Mason also serves on our board, so we thank you so very much. This is a special, special day. As I mentioned earlier, the business community, foundations, and individual donors continue to step up in support of our youth. The James Graham Brown Foundation gift puts us at just under $15 million, about 14.8. I'm looking at my chair over here, my campaign chair, Mary Gwen Wheeler, for scholarships and opportunity grants. And this is part of our $50 million campaign, as we have talked about with you all before. I'd like to publicly thank some of our other donors who have also pledged their support since our scholarship launch in August, to include the Louisville Urban League, the Young Brands Foundation, and Humana. With all of these collective gifts, we are now able to make the promise of free tuition to every student currently in high school. So thank you to all as we have reached this wonderful milestone and can talk about this. But our work is not done. We must continue to raise the funds to ensure that we can make this opportunity and promise to a whole generation of JCPS students. We're talking everyone in kindergarten through high school currently. But I believe together we can make this dream and promise a reality. The City of Louisville is a major partner in growing the educational attainment of our community. Mayor Greg Fisher has been a tireless supporter of lifelong learning, and he and members of his team and members of Metro Council have been championing our efforts. We welcome the mayor today and ask him to share a few words with us. Mayor Fisher.
Thank you, Marlon, and good morning, everybody. It's great to be here at Iroquois High School. Iroquois is one of my favorite high schools, Mr. Principal, because of the globalized nature of your student population here. It's just outstanding, and Iroquois can also be getting a lot of time in the sun here. We're, I guess, 12 days away from the Kentucky Derby, and the trainer of Essential Quality, who's the favorite for the Derby, is an Iroquois High School graduate, Brad Cox. So it'll be a wonderful local story if he's able to pull off the victory in the run for the Roses. So we're cheering for him. But it's appropriate that we're announcing this tremendous milestone here today during the Give a Day month of service now. We've extended it to the whole month because it really embodies the compassionate spirit of our city, helping people reach their full human potential. And going through the classroom, education is the game changer that we all know so much about. In fact, during one of the first Give a Day events, during a Build-A-Bed event at one of our JCPS facilities, I met a young woman, a senior at Central High School. Her name is Anaya, and she loves fixing things. I noticed that she was kind of slight, but she's in there building beds, and she's going at it with her hammers and this. And I said, this girl's got something going on with her mechanical ability. I said, what's up? What's next? She goes, well, I'm going to go to JCTC, and I'm going to study general engineering principles to decide what type of engineering pathway that I want to go in after that. And I'm going to take advantage of this Evolve502 Scholarship, and then I intend to get the Pell Grant after that, go to U of L, and get an engineering degree. And her mom looked at me and she said, have you heard of Evolve502? I said, oh, I've heard of Evolve502. It's just a wonderful opportunity. And that to me was really something, Mary Gwen, just to see how that all kind of came together after all of the work that's been put into this over the last decade, to see how it's happening now and how we're close to 1,000 students that are applying for Evolve502 Scholarship. So she's right. It is a great opportunity, and there's going to be more and more stories like this all over the city as we see Evolve502 open doors to college for so many students who might have just thought it wasn't possible. They were put off by the high cost. They didn't have a family tradition. Something gets in the way. And Evolve502 has opened the doors to college for the family of every JCPS student enrolled today. And I want that, like everybody, especially the media, to know what a big deal this is. We always dreamed that we could have a city where a student could be here, they could get any type of out-of-school time supports they needed, and then remove all financial barriers to go to college. Because the #1 disruptor of poverty is a post-secondary degree. So now that's available to all JCPS students. And Marty Polio, you've been a strong champion all the way through as well. You know how incredibly impactful Evolve502 is. And now we have this incredibly generous donation here today from the James Graham Brown Foundation that's made college even more affordable by providing additional resources specifically for students that don't have a backup plan if something comes up in life. And guess what? Something always comes up in life. So to have $2,000 annually to cover these other costs of attending college, like transportation, housing, food, books, and more, is just a really incredible step for Evolve502. So Mason Rummel, I want to thank you. Mason has been with this 55,000 degree, cradle to career, Evolve502 movement from the very beginning. And she has been more active than any board member of a philanthropy than I've ever seen with a specific project to figure out how we're going to make this work. And the James Graham Brown Foundation has been saying, okay, how are we going to support Evolve502? Where can we make the most impact? And Mason, your personal impact and the foundation's impact is immeasurable, and the thousands of kids and their families that you're going to help are just, I hope, fill your heart in such a positive way. You've been phenomenal. So thank you to you and the entire James Graham Brown Foundation. I want to thank a few other folks. I want to thank Marland and Brandy Warren with Evolve502. They have been really instrumental in this phase of where Evolve502 is in this 10-year history. And when you think about how far we've come along that way, Mary Gwen Wheeler, our can we call it matriarch? Does that mean? It doesn't mean you're old. I don't think. It just means you're like a female leader, female champion. But Mary Gwen Wheeler, to you and everyone with 55,000 degrees, and everybody who's participated in establishing our Cradle to Career framework. That's the Harvard Graduate School of Education, their By All Means initiative, and the Say Yes Foundation for helping us get to this stage. They've been really instrumental partners as well. I want to thank Ashley Parrott, who's my senior policy advisor and loves education, and she has been critical to my office in terms of making sure that we're always plugged into the right places and we're disrupting when we need to disrupt, that we're good team members at all times as well. So I really thank you for being a thought leader with the Evolve502 board representative. You're a tremendous citizen and a tremendous public servant, so I appreciate you, Ashley. All right. So I'm proud, obviously, of Evolve502, and it has the potential to be a national model for other cities as this movement grows to provide more Americans with cradle career support and resources. I was on the phone the week before last with the new Secretary of Education, Secretary Mayorkas, and he is looking for best practices in the country. Because I think when President Biden introduces the American Family Plan in the next couple of weeks, you had the American Rescue Plan, the American Jobs Plan, and the next one's the American Family Plan. I'm very hopeful that they will introduce concepts like Evolve502 as a national, federally supported program. And we need to do that as a country to really emulate what many other countries are already doing that care about shrinking the income and wealth gaps and providing opportunity to everyone to reach their full human potential. So there's a lot of excitement about that, and I think Evolve502 will be a model for the whole country to follow. So I just wanted to say congratulations to everybody again, Mason and James Graham Brown Foundation. This is another really significant milestone for Evolve502. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor. We appreciate your guidance and leadership and support along the way. This has been fabulous. So JCPS seniors, and we have 3 in our audience with us today. This community is sending you a message that they care about you, they believe in you, and that they are willing to give you the added boost and support you need to continue your education beyond high school. And as the mayor pointed out, some level of education past high school, whether it be an associate's degree, a workforce credential, a technical credential, is life-changing. So now it's your time to take that next step and take advantage of this opportunity before you. And again, Evolve502 is here for you to help you along the way. To that end, we are hosting what we're calling Evolve502 Apply Week for the week of April 24th through the 30th to really encourage students to submit their applications, to complete their FAFSA, and enroll in college. We know that this has been a year filled with challenge and many distractions for our youth. And really, when we think about it, our youth has probably been the major groups that really has suffered through the pandemic and the loss of school and all that we've gone through here in the last year. But we are here for you to guide you along the way and to help you to take this next step and to take charge of your future. Next week, as the mayor mentioned, is Kentucky Derby Week, the fastest 2 minutes in sports. But we are willing to bet that it would take you the same amount of time or less to fill out our application as it would to crown our next Derby winner. Very simplified process. So we encourage you to get engaged. Students who complete their application before 4 p.m. on April 30th will be entered in a number of drawings that we are providing, some cash gift cards to help students. We are also planning some fun rewards with JCPS, schools that have the highest percentage of applicants during Apply Week. We know applying for college in your future can be overwhelming. So to help kick off all of these activities, we are also hosting what we're calling a College Kickstart this coming Saturday at 11:30 at Jefferson's Downtown Library. Many of our community and higher ed partners will be on hand to help answer your questions, help you with your application and admissions process. More details, about Apply Week and College Kickstart are available on our website at evolve502.org, or you can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. As was mentioned, Evolve502, along with our many partners, are truly locking arms with JCPS to find better ways to connect young people and their families to needed resources. This time, I'd like to welcome Dr. Marty Polio to the podium so that he can share his thoughts about our opportunities here and what this means to JCPS students. Dr. Polio?
All right, thank you, Marlon. Appreciate it. And it's great to be here at Iroquois High School, home to one of the best trainers in America, also home to one of the best basketball coaches in America, Scott Davenport. Was a graduate of Iroquois High School, and he talks about it all the time. And so did great things here, and another great graduate of Iroquois, and we know we have great students all throughout this school who are going to do fantastic things. So excited to be here today. Thank you, Principal Folk, for hosting us, doing a great job here at Iroquois as well. On my sheet here, it says 3 to 4 minutes I'm supposed to speak. Usually when Renee puts that on there, I take it as a recommendation only. I will try to stick to that today, even though I don't think 3 to 4 minutes can really suffice for the impact of what we are talking about here today and the impact that it is going to have on kids across this community for years to come. And it hit me a couple weeks back when I was at Moore High School with Marion C. Moore, with the mayor was there. And when I see seniors, I usually ask them, what are you going to do next year? Glad to have you back. I know you're excited to be back. What are you going to do? And just like the mayor said, we had a young man say to me, I'm going to take advantage of that Evolve502 scholarship, start at JCTC, and then go on to University of Louisville. And that's when it really hit me that this was real. I mean, we have been talking about this for many years and planning for many years and come so far and progressed so far. But to hear a young man who's about to graduate from Marion C. Moore say, I'm going to take advantage of the Evolve502 scholarship, made that so real for us and really made me see the impact of what's going to happen with kids in this community now that they have college guaranteed to them. It is guaranteed to them. And another way I've known the impact of this, and we have to understand what paying for college right now and taking out student loans is doing to much of our younger students all across this country, but specifically here in Jefferson County. Over the past couple of years, I've had the honor of giving away an employee scholarship each spring. And it is a fantastic thing to do, to be able to go around 2 years ago to schools and hand out these big checks. And last year it was during the pandemic, but we went to households and gave out these checks. The first year, we gave out 1-year scholarships. Here's for 1 year. But what we found was these young people were saying to us, you know, when I would ask them in the interviews, how are you going to, tell me how you're going to pay for college? Well, I've got my first year paid for, but I'll have to figure it out after that. I'll probably take out loans. And when we did the math with them, I mean, we're talking $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in loans for these students. And all too often what that meant was after year one, we keeping track of it, and I'm proud to say we actually have a young lady from our first year from Western High School who will be graduating from IU Southeast here in the spring, which I'm really proud of, our first graduate from the employee scholarship. But, you know, we also know we had several after year one who said, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Is there any more? So year two, we decided let's give everybody in this scholarship 4 years, but we couldn't award as much because we wanted to make sure they had 4 years paid for. Now think of the power of this Evolve502 scholarship. Every high school student in Jefferson County Public Schools is now guaranteed a 2-year scholarship to JCTC. and the opportunity grants, if they qualify for those. And many of our students also qualifying, thank you to the University of Louisville, the 2+2 scholarship where they can now move on to the University of Louisville and have 4 years paid for. I don't think we quite can magnify enough the impact of this scholarship. And when I first became acting superintendent, I jumped on here and I heard about this and I thought, boy, that sounds like pie in the sky stuff to me. But here we are. After so much work, the work that has been put into this has just been immense. And I can't thank the mayor, Mayor Fisher of Evolve502 enough for their work in supporting this. Mary Gwen Wheeler in her championing of this, I won't use matriarch, I'll use champion, but her championing of this all the way back to the start of 55K and what an impact that has had on this community and how this has become a part of Evolve502. And I have to thank our foundation partners in this. The James Graham Brown Foundation has been a champion for this work for us. CENS as well, but both of these foundations have stepped up and just said that they want to be a part of it. And really, both of them have said, called me at multiple times, especially during the pandemic. What can we do to help? What can we do to help students here in Jefferson County Public Schools? And their commitment, the James Graham Brown Foundation, to stepping up and being a partner with Evolve502, this $3 million grant, is just incredible award. So I am so proud that we can stand up and now say every child that is in high school in Jefferson County Public Schools is guaranteed paid tuition to JCPS or Simmons College of Kentucky, and many going on to 2 more years at the University of Louisville. What an awesome opportunity that is. And so finally, I will say this, we have made great progress with the academies of Louisville. Great progress, where before the pandemic, a school like Iroquois was seeing incredible progress in their students that were transition ready, what we used to call college and career ready. And we are ready to get our kids back on those certification tracks again, now that we're back in person. But this, now we have the Evolve502 Scholarship that we can guarantee. And we are looking towards middle schools now. How can we have explore options for middle schools? So clearly this becomes a pathway for all of our children. Over the next week, we will be challenging all of our principals, our counselors, and all of our schools to take part in this challenge and make sure that we see exponential growth in the applications that are going to this Evolve502 Scholarship now that we have our students back. So thank you very much to all involved. Mason, thank you for your commitment to JCPS. Marlon, we appreciate you. Mayor Fisher and your team for being a part of this as well. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.